Hello, this is Connor Super Goofy, and welcome to another review. So sorry that I'm doing another review, literally just a couple days after the Rocket Man review, which I actually plan on listening to Rocket Man's last album to make up for this one because I really did not like this Rocket Man album, and I'm sure that whatever Rocket Man had released before that would have been better than this. So be prepared for a retroactive review of Depression Tape 1, just to make up for the fact that I really did not like Back to My Roots. But I decided to. I meant to review Wonder when it first came out, but I think I was sick at the time, so I've decided, why not review the farewell edition that I have just released last night. I just released it last night. And so I released it last night in lieu of me deciding to step away from making music. So because there were four tracks that I had recorded since I released Wonder that I knew I wasn't going to be able to put on an album because the album was going to be canceled. So at first I was like, well, why don't I just put them on an EP and release that? And then I had a better idea. Hey, why not just add them to Wonder? And leave Wonder as just the farewell album. And so I did that, which actually gives me a chance to actually do a review of Wonder because I think it's definitely one of my less spectacular albums, and I think these new tracks, I think, kind of weigh even more against it, honestly. Um, so, yeah, let's get started with the opening track here, Entrancement, which is a, in my opinion, a killer opener. Like a killer intro track. I think that this is probably the best instrumental track I've ever released. Um, I like the way the pads. I just love the pad background and the piano that plays throughout it. It's just so dreamy, and it reminds me of back when I made it. Back in May before the school year ended is when I made it. Um, Instead of transitioning into the interlude for the sake of keeping it simple, it transitions into the second track, I Know All Your Secrets, which is the new one. Um, this is the track that was on, this is the only track on this new deluxe edition that was unreleased before. And I think it's one of the worst tracks on the album. Simply, I like how it's produced, but I simply don't like how corny it ended up being. Like, it's one of the corniest tracks I've ever released. And I think it's my least favorite track on the album. Um, then, for the sake of keeping it simple, is a pretty unmemorable interlude. But then we pick back up again with I Hate It, the song featuring Senpal, which has a killer piano riff. My vocals actually come across with energy, and while Senpal's verse on the song is pretty short-lived, and I think he could have sounded at least a little bit more energetic. I think his verse fits well into the song. Um, and Obviously the bridge is on this is really good. I think I would give this track an 8 out of 10. It's definitely another one of my favorites. Um, then there's a track Enemies, which is a pretty bassy kind of minimalist song, similar to it kind of similar to Spooky. If you remember that diss track that I released on Carlos Lujan that I immediately had to get rid of because of the controversy. Um, it's like the beat is similar to that song, I would say. Then there's the lead single to the original album, The Doghouse, which I think still holds up as one of my favorite tracks. I think the vocals on my first verse are a little bit too 8-bitified, or I guess I should say like overdriven. That's my only issue with this song. And I think the pianos on Nervinx's verse in hindsight didn't need to be pitched down. But other than that, I think this song is still pretty fun. Then there's I think this remains my favorite track on the album, Nothing, which is a song about those trolls that came onto Big Soap streams because they lost a Rocket League game with Big Soap and are talking trash about Big Soap. I thought it would be fun to make fun of those people because they're just obviously losers. And I also, the third verse is a diss toward what's his name? I forgot his name. Nate Flores. He's so forgettable that I actually forgot his name, even though I dissed him on the third verse of this song. Then there's the song River Jams, which I think River Jams is kind of humorous, kind of funny, but I think the beat the production on it just kind of lets it down a little bit. It's pretty basic, and I think the drums at first when I first found them, I thought they sounded good, but no, it just doesn't work. I don't think the song really I don't think the instrumentation really works on this song, and I think it kind of lets down the subject matter, which is all about my brother and sister's friend Anderson and how he has river jams. There's this playlist that he's got called River Jams, which I was introduced to because my song SHPOT version 2.0 was on that playlist. And so I decided to write a whole song about it. Um, then there's Real Kid Fighting Mushroom, which is a song that came straight to me from a dream, um, and is also I think it's kind of good as like a laid back sort of song, but I think the lyrics do get corny at times, and I think it could have been executed at least a little bit better. Then there's Dishonest, which is another one of my least favorite tracks on here. I think it's one of the worst. I think it's definitely the worst executed song on the album. And I don't think it's quite as corny as I Know All Your Secrets, but still. Then we go back to another one of my favorite songs, Tribute. I mentioned how Enemies has a beat similar to Spooky. Well, this beat is directly from Dear Carlos, which is the other big diss track that I released on Carlos Lujan that I had to take down almost immediately after. I decided the beat was too good to not use, so I decided to repurpose it for this song. And it's a song that's based on Nervinx's tribute, which is basically covering all my 4 years of high school in great detail. One verse, each verse is each year of high school, and the track, I had so many details to cover that the track ended up being 8 minutes and 27 seconds long, which is by almost 2 minutes, the longest song that I've ever released um, on my profile. Then there's the closer, the live the live piano instrumental, "The Sweetest Dream," which I recorded at a friend's house, and yeah, um, that's that's um, that's the album. I think it's a little inconsistent. There are some tracks on here that I am not the most proud of. Um, But overall, I think this album is worth a strong 5 to a light 6. That's about it. See ya.